Well, hello there. Welcome to my channel. My name's Anna, and I'm guessing you clicked on this video because you love Natasha Denona, or you're curious about Natasha Denona and want to know which one to get. I will say I only have 9 palettes, so I am ranking the 9 that I do have. She has many more, and I'll also tell you the ones that I am vying for, the ones that are on my wish list at the end. So if you want to see my ranking of the Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes that I have, then just keep watching. So like I said, I have 9 Natasha Denona palettes that I've collected, and they're, you know, Natasha Denona, she has a great formula. I really love almost every single one of these. In fact, there's only one that I kind of don't like, and mostly I don't like it because it was $129, and for the price, I just feel like there are better things out there. But generally speaking, I think Natasha Denona has awesome products, just especially with eyeshadow. It is expensive, and that's part of the reason that I only have nine palettes. Anyways, let's get started with the ranking. So in 9th place, I have the mini Lila palette, and very pretty. I got this on sale for $12.50, so for the price, totally worth it. This isn't anything that I don't like. I know some people have said they don't think the formula is as good as her usual. I don't know. I guess I haven't really noticed, but I don't reach for this one very often, which is why it's ranked where it is. You know, it's a bit neutral to purple, and then it's got, you know, this kind of fancy shade. But the thing is, if I'm gonna go neutral with a fancy shade, I'm gonna use probably the Glam palette, or I have some other neutral palettes that I like, and then I'll use an indie special shade from Terra Moons or Devine or something like that. So that's why this one is in 9th place. Nice to travel with. You can throw it in your purse. It's, you know, it's not bad. It's just not my favorite, but if you can get it for $12.50, I say go for it. All right. In 8th place is the mini retro palette. And again, it's a sweet little palette. I like the color story. I find that it doesn't give me, I'm not wowed when I put it on. I'm not like, oh, I love that look, but it works fine. And it's got some pretty shadows in there, some pretty colors, and it is very travel friendly. If you like these shades, I would say it's a good one to have. $25 are the little minis like this, usually. Okay, now, this is the palette that I kind of resent it, I think. I think I just regret buying it. I don't know. I don't know exactly why even that I picked it up. I think I thought it was a unique color story, but this is the Triochrome palette. So it's one of the big guys, $129. I just didn't think it was worth it. I love the packaging. I mean, I don't know if you can see that shift. The packaging is amazing and everything. And honestly, I almost want to just use the palette for something else. But I don't know, it's a cute color story. It's unique. I don't have anything else like it, so I guess that's why I picked it up. But I don't think it's anything special. I don't think it's worth the money. Because I paid so much for it is why it's above the other two. Why it is above the other two palettes. But I don't think that the shifts are really that amazing. And I just don't think that the pastel kind of shades are really, don't pop that much. They're just nothing special to me. I don't know. I don't recommend this one. It's a very specific thing, I guess, if you're really into these colors. But then again, I feel like you can get just better pastels elsewhere. And then like I wanted to show the difference between, you know, here's a multi-chrome from this palette, you know, and it's cool. It's got a shift, you can see it. But, you know, like I go into my Terra Moons shadows and sort of a similar thing. I don't know. I just think I'm more wowed by it. So anyway, that's why this one is ranking where it is. So that was the Trio Chrome palette. All right, in 6th place is the Natasha Denona Love palette. This one's a cute one. I like this one a lot. The tones are very pinky purple, which I love those colors. Ever since I was a little girl, I've always liked purple and pink, and they're just very girly and fun, and I think they're pretty flattering. I do find, I don't know, I don't like that this deeper shade is one of the cream to powder. It doesn't work very well for me as that. I have a little trouble with that shade. It could just be me. I also find that this red shade Heart is, I don't know, I think it's a bit just patchy. It's not amazing. I don't love that. But I do think that I can get a really nice look with this palette. I also struggle with this Dream, which I believe is also a cream to powder. So I like the color story on this one. I don't think the formula is as great. One of the nice things about this palette is it is one of her smaller ones, which these retail for $65. And if you can get them, you know, on the Sephora sale for 20% off, 15% off, 10% off, depending on the insider status that you have, I think that's, you know, I think it's totally worth it. I like a couple of her other mini palettes better, and I have one on my wish list. So I'll tell you what those are in a little bit. All right. So in 5th place, I have the Sunrise palette. And this is the first Natasha Denona palette that I ever purchased. I finally took the plunge when she decided to do the smaller palettes, because I don't know, up until that point, I just couldn't justify the $129 price tag. But I don't know, this one, because it was the $65 smaller palette. Oh, let's show you the colors. And it's a really pretty color story. I think it's really flattering. The peachy orange rusty shades in here are very flattering on my particular skin tone. And there's this Aster shade that is so pretty. I really like that one. We'll see how it looks on camera, but it was one of the first times that I had gotten, you know, kind of a duochrome in those tones before I actually got into the indie makeup. So I don't know, I was pretty wowed by it at the time. This Awakening shade is really pretty too. But yeah, if you like this color story, I think the formula on this one's really good. There isn't a dud in here for me. I really like this one. The metallics are great. The mattes are great. Very pretty color story. Yeah, I really like this one. Definitely no regrets with this guy. All right, in 4th place, and this is what's on my eyes today. Can you guess what it is? Is the Glam Palette. I really like this one. It's definitely a certain vibe. It's very kind of classic, almost has to go smoky a little bit. Although if you use some of the lighter, a bit warmer tones, you can go a little bit more natural. Anyways, very, very pretty, kind of classy, classic. The formulas in this one are all great. They all work well for me. I really like what turned out today. I just think it's very classic. So if you like the cool toned neutrals, I would highly recommend this one, especially it's one of the smaller palettes. I kind of wish that all of her palettes that would come out would be this size, because I'm never, ever, ever, ever gonna go through the bigger pans. I'm never gonna go through these smaller pans. I have so much eyeshadow that there's just no way that that's gonna happen. So, you know, I love it. And I just think it's so pretty and it's just classy. I like it. I like how classy she is. She's so shiny. And in third place for my Natasha Denona palettes, eyeshadow palettes, I have the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. And she's so pretty. Very warm tones, except you have the pops of color in there with the blues and greens. You can get such a neutral look with this, and there are cooler and warmer tones in here. It really spans the spectrum in that way. I mean, I think it does lean a little bit more warm, but you do have some cooler tones in here. This guy here, this right here. I think these are a bit cooler. This one, and I find this very flattering as well. One thing that I will point out is these blues are pretty similar, and they're not as deep as you would imagine. I think they definitely have more green in them than I was thinking they would. So if you're looking for that, you're not gonna really get it. They're more kind of teal, and they're a bit similar. They're pretty. They're very, very pretty, but they're not as deep. You know, I think this one almost looks navy in the pan, and it's not at all, like at all. Yeah, so that's something to consider, but I will say this is really versatile, really, really versatile. I've had this for 2 years, and I just realized about 2 months ago that there's this kind of army green in there. I mean, I knew it was there, but I was able to do this really green look, and in just looking at this, I wasn't expecting that, and it turned out really pretty, and I used some of the yellows, and it's really versatile. You can get so many different looks with this one. Also, this one is one of her $129 palettes, but if you're gonna go for one of the big palettes, this one's great because it's 28 shades. And usually the bigger palettes like this are only 15. So it's kind of a better value. Like I was saying, I'm never gonna go through even these smaller pans. So more colors is better for me in the same size palette. So yeah, I really like this one. I don't know what to do about this. I guess maybe I should just take it out. I don't care about the shade names usually. Also, my little magnet came out of here and breaks and falls out, and I don't know, it's annoying, but whatever. It's not that big a deal. But for $129, it's not really about the packaging. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on. All right, now this one shocked me. This one being in second place absolutely shocked me because it's a mini. It's a tiny little mini, and I just thought, why would that be in second place? But I love this palette. It gives me such cute, it's just so cute on, very flattering. And this is the Mini Love palette. Speaking of, I'm just gonna say this right now. I loved the whole collection that came out with this. I'm actually not wearing it today because I have the Glam palette on my eyes. I went a little bit cooler. And this has some kind of, it's just a little more, I don't know, pink and gold. And I wasn't going for the gold vibe, but this whole collection, So cute, and I love it so much. I am wearing this lipstick on my lips today. I love, 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 love. Whoop. I love this lipstick. It is probably the most flattering shade that I own. I don't know. It's just, oh, it's so good. It's so, so good. I love it. I love it so much. And it's called Amorosa. Amorosa. So good. Also, I should mention, because I like to mention this, none of these shadows that I'm mentioning today have any scent to them as far as a fragrance. You know, they kind of smell like eyeshadow. Yeah. But nothing fragrance. There's no fragrance in any of these. However, there is fragrance in this lipstick. It doesn't bother me. It's one of the kind of vanilla-y type of smells, and I put it on, I feel fine. I don't get nausea, I don't get a sore throat, my eyes don't water, things like that. So yeah. Anyways, I'm totally digressing. Let's talk about the palette, and this was, again, second place. That is how much I love this. I just think it is so pretty. And you have this duochrome here that gives you a little bit of warmth and like that gold. It's like a gold to pink. I don't know if you can see that in the pan. So pretty. I think you can get the best, such good looks with this. So, so pretty. Love, love, love. Love my mini love palette. In fact, I do prefer it. I prefer it over the big one. I like this purple better, the deeper one. It just works better for me, and I need that deeper color in a palette. Oh, it's so pretty. I really love this one. I really love this. Yes, so much. Okay. So in the top spot, and I put this here because I reach for this palette more than any of my other Natasha Denona palettes. I reach for it all the time. Like all the time. I have so much fun with this palette. This is the Circle Loco palette. And I love this palette. And I was so on the fence when I first saw it. I was like, I don't know, like a circus themed eyeshadow. Like, I don't want to look, you know, like a clown or whatever. I don't find that at all. I definitely, ooh, that's dirty. She's a mess because I use her all the time, but that's what she looks like. So, so pretty. And every formula in here is great, works great, blends, pigmented, so, so, so beautiful. I am obsessed with this shade, Aerialist, and this shade, Snow Cone. They are just, they're everything. Oop, I'm running out of room. Oh, it's so, so beautiful. I'm obsessed with those shades. I'm absolutely obsessed. And I will say, so most of the looks that I do, I stay on the cooler end of this, the blues, purples, pinks, and the kind of greenish teal. I did face my fears, and I did post a photo of I tried to look with the orange because I was afraid of it. I was like, I'm afraid of that orange. And so I was like, well, face your fears, let's do a look. And I did, and I liked how it turned out, but I will say I do like the cooler tones better. Anyways, I did post a photo on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram and you'd like to, it's at Banana Fantastic. It's kind of a long story, sort of, as to how that's my Instagram name, but I kind of like it. And anyways, that's my Instagram. But yes, this Circle Loco really, really surprised me. I've heard a lot of people say this. I think one thing that turned me off actually was just the layout. I don't think the layout is very good. And you can actually pop out the shades. There's several of these, actually, I'll just show you. The ones with the little holes on the bottom, you can actually pop out the shades and move them around. So you could actually put these in a reasonable order that's, you know, more aesthetically pleasing. I just felt this looked a bit chaotic and kind of circusy, which, you know, if that's what they were trying to market, then, you know, that's great. That's what happened, and I went for it. Not this. I went for the palette because I saw its potential, but I think I saw, who was it? I just think I saw a few different looks done with this palette, and I was like, ooh, that's really pretty. And they were all done with these like purples and blues, I think. Anyways, such a pretty palette. I reach for it all the time. Really easy to work with. Sometimes these really super bright colors, oop, that mirror is probably obnoxious. I'm gonna do that. Sometimes I think it's intimidating to work with those bright colors, and a lot of times bright colors like this are harder to blend. They're chalky, they're not as pigmented, they blend away. This isn't like that. It really gives you a lot of pigment, but it's still blendable, and they're flattering colors for being bright colors. So yes, I actually really recommend this palette if you have the money. I wish it had been a smaller, if this had been the smaller one, it would be perfect. If this was the $65, it would be perfect, but c'est la vie, it's fine. I ended up really loving it, so it's all good. Oh, so I said that I would talk about the palettes, like my next ones to get. And often what has happened is I was going to buy this at, you know, the next Sephora VIB sale, and then a new one came out. Like, I've been wanting to get the Natasha Denona Biba palette forever. I mean, forever, for years. But it always sort of gets knocked off by the next thing. And I was at the last Sephora sale, totally gonna get Biba, and this happened and released, and I was like, oh, well, it's the same price. I'm gonna get that instead. So they just keep getting kind of passed up because of the next best thing. But the other two palettes that I'm really interested in and would like to try are, I've heard amazing things about the gold palette. And I don't know how similar it is to Metropolis. I'll try to put those side by side so that you can see how similar they are, but I've heard amazing things about the formula of that one and the color story. And then the other one is the bronze palette. At first, I thought it looked a bit boring, but the more I see it and the more I see looks with it, and the more I've seen some of the kind of duochrome shimmers, metallic shades in that palette, the more I'm like, oh, that looks so pretty. So we'll see. I don't know. Anyways, I am looking forward to trying those out someday. Let me know which ones are on your wish list, and if you agree or disagree with any of these. I would be fascinated to know, you know, if you disagree with these choices or what you think of it, because I know that everybody has such a different take on what they want to use. Whew. Well, that's all I got. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video. I hope you found it helpful or entertaining at the very least. And if you did like this video, I would love it if you'd give it a thumbs up. And if you'll hit that subscribe button, it would make my heart so happy, and I'll bring you more videos, I promise. Yeah, just kind of getting started at this and hoping to build a community of people like me who love makeup and just want to talk about it and want to share it and share their experiences. And let me know if you have any of these products, which are your favorites. I hope you're having a magical day, and if it's not, I hope something happens to make it better. All right, thanks so much for joining me. Bye.